Hi, my name's Rachel Ward and I'd like to read a little bit from my translation of Hotel Cartagena by Simone Buchholz, which has just been published by Orenda books. So it's the fourth in English, featuring public prosecutor Chastity Riley in Hamburg. She's celebrating a birthday with friends in a hotel bar when 12 heavily armed men pull out guns and take everyone hostage. Some of her friends are police themselves. There are other police outside, knowing that they've got colleagues' lives at stake inside the bar, which makes the situation all the more explosive. So this extract is a chapter called "But They Surely Won't Start Shooting People Right Away," which is a little way into the book when the situation is just starting to develop. The technician is met at the door and guns are held to his head, although they don't seem to impress him much. He looks around. His expression says something like, "Ah, got you. I always thought this kind of stuff could happen, and now here we are." He's medium height and medium weight, and generally looks like someone who doesn't get thrown off balance easily. "Well," he says, "as far as I can tell, the lights are still on." The guy I call number one turns to him and smiles. "The lifts," he says. "We need you for the lifts." "I almost thought as much," said the technician. "I'd do the same in your place." "Okay then," says number one. "Let's head over to the central control box." "Back left, right next to the stairwell door," says the technician, pointing towards the hotel corridor. "But would you please stop holding a gun to my head? I can't think like that." Number one nods to his two head receptionists, and they lower their weapons. He, the technician, and one of his colleagues, who was watching our group until just now, leave the bar. The technician is signalling his cooperation with his every fibre, and he'd be pretty stupid if he weren't. I'm assuming they'll be back soon, and that of course they know, even without the technician, how you switch the damn lifts off in that box. Well, I would if I were pulling a stunt like this. They probably only need the techie for the code that, in case of fire, sends the lifts plunging irrevocably down to the ground floor. After that, all they'd have to do is shoot up the control box and barricade the steel doors to the stairs. Done. Although, the roof could be the weak link. But hey, that's not my problem. I move the thumb of my left hand, which definitely is my problem. The cut just won't stop stinging. I have no way of assessing the wound, it's so dark here. Hard to make anything out. I don't want to take a closer look anyway. There's no need to draw unwelcome attention to yourself right away. But it's very clearly stinging. I try to read the faces of the other people up here with us. There are the bar staff, 2 guys and a woman. The 2 guys look insanely similar. They've got the same style of beard, the same nickel glasses and the same braces over the same black shirt, as if that were the uniform for the job here. The woman also has those stupid braces clipped over her fitted blouse, but she's got a face of her own and looks, all in all, as if she could just as well be standing behind the bar in a corner pub 3 streets away. She's tied up her hair in a tight plait, and reflected in her face is the kind of life you live if you don't always want to fit in everywhere. She looks like a woman who knows more swear words than the Scottish steelworker. The way she keeps her eyebrows raised, the way she doesn't just let them down again, the way she gives off scorn, arrogance and composure is simply nuts. She makes it unmistakably clear to everyone in the room that she doesn't like her situation here, but that she basically doesn't give a shit what's going on around her. I make a mental note for later, in case it ends up mattering who you can rely on here and who you can't. When you get down to it, people who are that nonconformist are the ones I like relying on the best. Most of the clientele among the hostages look like tourists who packed a few okay-ish smart things to wear for this one evening in the bar. They might even have been to one of those dire musicals first. Only 4 people make a different impression. Because they're different. Because they stand out from the middlingly dressy middle class. 2 men in very expensive-looking suits. The shirts beneath them are slim cut and unbuttoned that particular smidge too far. One of them has a belly that wants to get out, but he keeps pulling it back in. The pair of them have 2 dolled-up young women with them, each in a little black dress and dizzyingly high heels. I'd say the men are here on business and the women too, only their business is the 2 men. I don't particularly like the 2 women, but I like the 2 guys much less, because they clearly think it's a good idea to buy women, that it's legitimate, and so they do it just because they can. But maybe I'm being unfair, like so often when I want to burn down capitalism. Maybe they're just 2 very well-to-do couples who've forgotten that too expensive very quickly turns cheap. But if I think about it properly, I'm inclined to plump for version 1. And however I dish out my sympathies here, there's one thing every face in this bar shares, even those belonging to the hostage takers. Every person here looks like a car that's fallen in the river. Each of us knows that right here, nothing is the way it ought to be, that life has just taken a pretty sharp turn, that after this performance, nothing will be the same as it used to be. Could be that we all die tonight, or maybe first thing tomorrow, or not for another 2 days.